What's poppin', everybody? Welcome on into another Bet Smart stream. Today, we have a new guest, first time on stream this year. One of my good buddies, a fantastic human being, and somebody who loves dongs, which is a great time for the home
Yeah,
run derby. had to do my boy dirty there, but what's poppin', Cat? How are you?
good man. How are you?
Doing great, bro. Doing great. Home run derby. The field is electric. No tool sponsor today. Of course, it's the calm season, so Cap and I are going to go through the board. I get a couple other sports books open as well, so we can do what we have to do, aka line shopping. Make sure we're getting the best odds, and we're going to talk some ball quickly, and then we're going to hopefully cash some tickets on the derby. Let me get 1 second to do a little promo like I always do to start the show. And Cap, right here we see the entire board for the Derby. Before we talk about who we think is going to win or dive into some props, some fun stuff that I know you have, I know I have. Talk to me about your just general thoughts on the competition this year because I think it's going to be a hell of a Derby.
Yeah, man. A lot of people kind of been thrashing on the eight we have in front of us, which obviously it changed a little bit with Acuna backing out and Olsen jumping in for him. Uh, but yeah, I think it's a great field. It's kind of a good mix of big names, but also some of these guys that are just breaking the surface, which you gotta love. For betting terms, I guess it's not all chalky guys, so that's really nice to see. But yeah, I think it might be one of the most even fields we've seen. Obviously, Caminero and Chisholm are down there for a reason, but other than that, I don't know. We might get a surprise from those guys, but all in all, I think they did a great job. I love the field, and it should be a hell of a show.
Dude, I love the field. Like we're talking big dumper. We're talking O'Neill Cruz, who hits piss missiles. We're talking Jimmy Barrels, who is one of the most exciting young players in the sport. Matt Olson, we know what he can do with the bat. Buxton, who's finally healthy, who is going to put on another show tonight. Rooker, who I think is getting a little bit disrespected, and we'll talk about this in a little bit. Like he hits absolute tanks. Caminero, 22 years old, and then Jazz Chisholm, an exciting electric player. So we're talking about some, I want to say like vets in Olson, Buxton, and Chisholm, some absolute young stallions in Raleigh, Wood, Cruz, Caminero, and then Rooker, who's like on a path to just being like a hell of a baseball player, right? So we're talking about some good guys that if you watch MLB, you know of. We're talking about some studs who are hopefully going to be in this sport, in this league for ideally the next, at this point, who knows, 10 years minimum, 15 years hopefully for these guys. So I think it's great for the sport of baseball tonight. I think we're going to see some good ones. But Cap, before we talk about any winners, we're of course going to go through winners, exactas, finalists, talk about some bets that you like, some bets that I like, some data. Is there somebody who you think has no chance of winning that you're crossing off the board immediately?
Um,
Odds tell a story, but like at this point with the high variance events, it's very easy to say Jazz with the 14-1 odds. That honestly is my pick. But back to you though. Anybody you're looking at, you're like, nah, bro, he's not winning this year.
all right, I'll give you a chalkier look, which would be Jazz. Like I just don't. It's a big question mark there. Don't get me wrong. I think he's done some good things in New York. If anything, it might have revived his career a little bit. I mean, he's still young, so that's kind of wild to say. But in Miami, kind of seemed like he lost his touch. He goes to New York and brings a little excitement there, which is nice because that team is pretty bland, anyways. But O'Neal Cruz, I don't. So let me preference this, which I know he can. He has the power. He has the bat speed. He has all the tools you need to hit home runs. But I mean, this is a guy that we were talking about, you know, I don't know, what was it, a month ago, where they literally had to sit him because he's lazy. Like,
Mhm.
and I know this is just for fun, so maybe he opens up here, but other than him being a left-handed bat and like I said, having the tools, I don't get like I would put Buxton or Rooker, I would bump them higher than O'Neal Cruz and odds, like if I was the books, like, or my outlook on it. But I don't know. I don't get that. I could be completely wrong. He could just shock the freaking world, but I don't get how he gets all that respect. That would be, I guess, my one that they're up there in the top four where I was just kind of confused once I started diving into that.
I am on the exact same page as you. I think O'Neal Cruz. So on one hand, like of course we don't exactly know what's going to happen if we did it be easy, but I have the same thought process that you have. He got benched for being lazy. He also swings and misses a ton. Now, of course, we're talking about throwing not 60 feet 6 inches, throwing freaking sliders at his feet, but
Yeah.
it's either going to be a situation where like he's literally built for this event, which like technically speaking he is, which is probably why the lines are that way. And I mean that as in like free swinger, big speed, like massive power. But on the other hand, just from like a baseball perspective, right? Like I don't think he's the best home run hitter or the second best, even in this contest esque format to roll like this. And like even last year, like Bobby Witt got to the finals. Like he was somebody who everybody knows Bobby Witt's a great baseball player and has some pop, but he definitely turned some heads with how well he performed in this situation. And there were guys like Gunnar, who was expected to be a top, I think he was like second or third shortest odds to win it last year. And he didn't even make it out of the first round. I think I'm on the same page as you, where if anybody of the big four in terms of odds, or I guess big three, because Olson's a massive jump from 3.9 to 1 to 8 to 1. I think Cruz, if anyone, is going to be the one to shit the bed here as well.
Yeah, I'd like to preference that. What Bobby was like a couple swings away from winning the whole damn thing, right? Or it came down to like I had him last year. I can't remember the odds, but they were nice. So hopefully we can get one this year. So
Absolutely, hopefully. So we're gonna go, Cap. I think what we should do is we should tease and save our winner for the end, and we should go through any other props that we might have. And I'm gonna talk about something now. I'm not logged in. I'll do some line shopping for the boys as well. I'll pull up a different sports book. Of course, we're not trying to only bet on DraftKings. It just has a very clean interface for some of this stuff. But I will do some looking for the best odds. Have you taken any bets other than anything that involves the finals just yet? Like, for example, did you take a home run round bet or anything like that? Because I have taken two that I can talk about prior to getting into that like final two pool.
right. So I would preference it with obviously over at Better Process we kind of take a pretty I wouldn't say simple but a safe approach. Like we're trying to profit. This is kind of a night where you maybe toss that out the window, but I still took a pretty simple approach. Try to keep it just straightforward. So the only two bets that I took that were not had to do with finals or finalists was the semifinals, which was. Do you want me to spit them out right now?
Yeah, but quickly, before you hop into it, we have a comment from Avery. Cal 12 to 1 for the longest home run hit odds is crazy. I don't think it's that crazy. I actually don't think this is obviously insinuating that he's not going to hit the longest home run. I think that's pretty fair, actually. I don't think Cal is a. Let's see if this is a market right here. Yep, Cal is 9.5 to 1 at DraftKings. So you're definitely doing some good line shopping, Avery, for finding better price. I kind of agree. I saw a tweet. I'm going to pull it up quickly. Sorry to like change courses real quick, but shout out to Outlier.bet, amazing sports betting tool. They released a thread. The only reason, again, why I'm not pulling it up on my actual computer that we're streaming on, just because I don't want to have a shit to bed. But Cal Raleigh this year, first of all, he's got his dad pitching to him, and to me, that's a kind of a red flag. I know we've seen some like good situations with that, but I think that like we're not in the backyard at 8 years old anymore. And Outlier also mentioned, Raleigh's got a crazy high fly ball rate, pull rate. They didn't have data on distance, which is what I was looking for you, Avery. But I don't think Cal, and I'll fact check this while you go back to your conversation, Cap. I don't think Cal is like really putting out like moonshots right now.
No, he's kind of a wall scraper, man. He doesn't really put those big bombs out there.
So, Cap, let's go back to some of the plays that you were eyeing prior. Talk to me on what you were looking at for general, and I'm in the background. Cal's a 479 bomb this year, which is obviously very impressive. But I agree with the wall scraper. I know he plays in Seattle, so that definitely doesn't help some of his home runs. But let me get back to you, Avery. I'll do a little bit of a quick deep dive on the side here. But Cap, talk to me about any bets you've taken prior to like the finals, whether it be length of home run head to head in the first round, anything you got.
I have not take length or anything, but semifinals is actually what I hit up. You know me well enough to know that I'm kind of a plus money merchant, so I took Buxton at plus 100 on TK to make the semifinals, and also Matt Olson at plus 110 to do the same. I thought pretty fair price for guys that I like, and obviously we can dive into things like that a little bit later. But I really like those two for different reasons, and I thought the prices were really fair. Whereas you're going to be paying a lot more juice on a guy like James Wood or Cruz or Rowley. So
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. And Avery coming back in with Buxton in Cal at 479 is the longest home runs in the field today, which is very good data, very good to know. I mean, listen, we're talking 12-1, so I'm not going to talk you off the ledge there. Just from what I was like looking at prior, I can't find it. I should have did a better job bookmarking that. I did something that kind of kept me off of that, but I mean, you're giving me some data that's making me double check that and think twice about it. But Cap, this is something I took. I'll see if it's still available for at the same price I got it at. But I bet in round one. Okay, so I did get some CLV here. I bet Jazz under 17.5 home runs at minus 110. I still do like it at minus 135. And this is something that I read up about. If I know some information, a lot of people have this out. I know like Outlier on their thread, they wrote about it. I read it from MLB.com this morning. But something that I'm fading, which I spoke about, is who's pitching in the home run derby. And for Jazz, his stepfather is pitching, and he used to throw to him when he was a kid. And he also threw to him as recently as in a home run derby in the Bahamas. And this is a situation where Jazz literally said, and he quoted, now this could be just flair to say, but he did say, I'm not trying to think about the derby. I'm not even going to practice for it. The only person that needs practice is my stepdad. For me, I'll just go out there, have fun, work 70%, not do too much, just hit a couple home runs, and hopefully I'll win by doing that. Now, listen, that could just be simply, speak. That could just be him, trying to downplay it and, be himself, which Jazz Chisholm is always himself. And that could be some great like market manipulation there or something like that. But you're telling me you're only going 70%. You're not even practicing. I'm taking your under. You see 40 pitches is what you see, or the 3-minute timer. So you have to hit a home run at almost just under half of those 40 pitches. You have a stepfather who's throwing him the baseball, taking up some pitches. Hopefully, he takes stepdad a couple tosses to get into his rhythm there. I'm fading. I faded, I should say. Not even I'm fading. I already did fade. I took the under, and I do like the 135, though. I would definitely recommend doing some line shopping here for Jazz. First round, under 17.5. And I'm going to write down everything that Cap and I talk about so we can recap at the end. But Jazz, R1U, 17.5. Home runs. That's something I played myself.
Yeah.
Who do we think hits the most tonight? FD has a promo for bonus bets for every home run for the player you select. Now, this is a great question, Austin. Let's look at the market and see if we can do a little bit of just like, I guess like devigging per se. Odds for 30 plus. I guess that's just round one though. So let's see if there's a total home runs in the Derby. Total home runs by Derby winner. 57.5 over 260. Well, they have a tiered market here. 53.5 is really the number, I guess, there. Cap, do you have somebody that you're targeting to hit the most home runs? Because not hitting the most doesn't equate to winning. It depends on when you hit the home runs. Do you have a thought on that there?
So it's overall, right? It's over the whole
It's
course.
over the thing. So you could hit 50 in round one and then 2 in round 2, lose in round 2. But if 52 is the most home runs hit, 52 is, you actually can't hit 50 because only 40 pitches. But you know what I mean.
Right. No, I mean, obviously, you have to, whoever you're targeting to win this or your top two or three, it's got to be within that, I would think,
Mhm.
just because that makes sense number wise.
Yeah.
I was kind of looking at those markets, and I don't know. You obviously, I would like to think that like a guy like James Wood or like one of those younger guys really gets in a rhythm. You think they would have a little more, what am I thinking? What am I trying to say? A little more stamina. So you would think they could go a little longer, but I don't know. That one's a tough one. I think that one is just again a lot of this is just like field in your field in your loins and go for it. I guess a little bit of stats to back it up, but that one's tough for me. If I was gonna attack anything, I think I would rather attack the the exit velocity or longest home run because that would be a lot of fun and see where it goes.
Yeah, and Austin following back in with leaning Buxton, Rooker, Wood. I used my bonus bet or on my entry for FanDuel, I should say, for this bonus bet potential on Rooker. So we are going to talk in more detail about it, but I'm on the same page as you there where I use it on Rooker. Though Rooker is not my like number one who I think to win, just from like a pricing perspective, I went with Rooker. Avery chiming back in, Caminero is his winner. BP pitcher was a guy who threw to Randy when Randy made the finals. That is a fact. And
Yep.
from Caminero, quote, he's a very consistent guy that when he throws the ball, so I'm not going to try to do too much. I'm going to try to make contact with the ball and just have to have my regular swing. To me, he's the best BP thrower that we have and probably anywhere. So Avery with a little bit of a narrative there and talking about Caminero for that promo as well. And Austin chiming back in with Wood has the narrative where he can earn more than his season contract tonight with a W. We've also seen that Wood has been putting into practice. We saw those videos on Twitter. We also, if you guys didn't see, or you just weren't like paying attention, maybe Wood did not play yesterday. It's first time in his MLB career where they give him an off day. Is it to train for this derby? Is it just because he's played, every single game, he needs a little bit of a break? Can all things be true at the same time? They absolutely can. And then Austin, I saw the Caminero bat as well. It was very funny. He's got a bat with his face on it, which is a little bit of like an oxymoron, I feel like. But hey, man, Junior Caminero is epic. He's swaggy, and I absolutely love that. So, Cap, before we move on to some other bets here, I took Jazz round 1 under 17.5 home runs. What else did you take? What did you talk about that you took as well? So I'll write them down so we can recap them at the end for like the either semifinals or round 1.
Yeah, like I said, I took Buxton and Olsen both to make the semis. And that's
Okay.
really all I took. I was hoping, all together here we could dive in and maybe talk me into taking a couple more, which will probably happen. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really know how to attack the total number. I'm backing you as well with the Jazz pick. If you want to buy into somebody that you think is just not going to do well, then that makes it pretty easy. And like you said, at basically have to hit home run at a 50% rate. That's tough. So I agree there. But
Definitely
other than
tough.
that, I haven't really touched too much.
I'm fading, and to be clear, I'm fading Stepdad more than I'm even fading Jazz. I mean, I'm fading Jazz's quote and I'm fading Stepdad combined. So those two pieces of information together. And also because if you get the bonus home runs, if you hit a certain amount of distance on some home runs, like Jazz can, he has that pop, is that lefty bat. There's a little bit of elevation in Atlanta as well, which I think is important. It's obviously no Coors Field, but there is a little bit more elevation, so we can see some balls flying a little bit further. But I'll round out, I guess, my round 1 thoughts with a bet that I took, and this might be a little bit of a spoiler. I laid the juice, and I did get some expected value and some closing line value here if this closes where it's at. But I took James Wood to make the semis. I laid the minus 150, and I bet Wood to make the semifinal. We're going to talk a lot more about James Wood, player that I just am obsessed with. Everybody, if you listened to the stream before, you guys know how I feel about Jimmy Barrels. I have my fantasy team. I watched him play last year. I watched him play this year a lot. He is just awesome. But I took Wood to win minus 150 at Caesars. I didn't see that market on DraftKings when I was looking earlier. I think some of these markets are state to state, which is a little just the way it goes. If you could find better than 160 at Caesars right now, like certainly do. I can maybe look at FanDuel, but again, it wasn't showing for me on FanDuel earlier. But I have James Wood to make the semi. So right now, Cap, we have Wood, Buxton, Olsen to make the semis. Only 4 players do make the semis. Is there somebody else in this field? Because we have the good Austin talking about Caminero, loving it. Avery, a big fan of Caminero as well, considering the bullpen pitcher and also just how good he is. That's 3 of the 4 right there. So we're disincluding Cal, we're disincluding O'Neill, we're disincluding Rooker, Buxton, and Caminero and Jazz. But Jazz, to me, I don't think Jazz has a chance. So I'm writing him out. We both agree that Cruz probably doesn't have it. If you had to say, you don't have to put a bet down right this second or anything like that, Cap, but if you had to say who would be the 4th person to make that field between then Raleigh, Rooker, Buxton, Caminero, gun to head, who would you take?
Oh, we have Buxton in there, right? We have Buxton.
Oh, we have
Olsen.
Buxton. We have Buxton. We have Buxton, Olsen, Wood. So Rooker, Caminero, and Cal, realistically, if we're fading Chisholm and Cruz, like we said at the top of the show.
Gun to head, I'm going to say Rooker. We've talked about this a little bit. The dude has pop. I don't know. He seems just super like just that kind of guy that's just super consistent in everything he does. So I can see him really excelling at this. But just for Avery and Austin, a little love to you guys. I would love to see Caminero light it up tonight. I haven't put a single bet on the dude, but he's freaking electric, and I would love to see him do as well.
So Cap and I eventually are going to make our declaration, odds, regardless of odds and price of who we think is going to win. But with that being said, with the fact that you can do bets like exactos or name the finalists, I do have some sprinkles on a couple of different combinations, but I do have a guy who I think is going to win. But on Rooker, his pitching coach or his BP pitcher is Joe Caruso, who is his hitting coach from ages 9 through high school. And then now Caruso throws batting practice to Rooker back home in Tennessee every offseason. And quote from Brent Rooker, he's probably seen me hit in the cage more than anybody has thrown to me. And he's probably seen me hit in the cage more than anybody and has thrown to me more than anybody. So it should be a good relationship out there. Being able to make that call and tell him we're going to do it was pretty cool. So we have a big thing going. And Avery, good point out here. To get your money back, the bonus bets that promo is dependent on accounts as well. Like some accounts I've seen $25 minimum bet. I've seen $10 minimum bet. There is a minimum bet attached to it. And to get your money back, you need to hit a certain amount there, depending on what your minimum bet was. So needing Caminero to hit at least 10. I think Avery, I think you'll be chilling there, but time will tell.
He's just got to bet 250, man. 250. If he takes off 40.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So look at some other markets here. We can definitely try to convince ourselves. We can look at the longest home run. So right now, Cruz has the longest odds at DraftKings at 70, or I should say longest expected home run at 471.5. We got Wood at 464.5. Cal's at 454.5. Now, Avery, I know obviously there's a lot more excitement in the 12-1, but if you're looking at him to have the longest, maybe you could do some line shopping. But this at least fits your mold there for an over if you are looking to take a little bit of a less risk on there. So a ton of markets going. So right now, okay, I'll try to paint a little bit of a picture. So I'm with you that I think Rooker makes the finals. I don't think Olsen makes the semis, so that's where we can disagree. Of course, there's going to be disagreements. I could see Buxton making it. Olsen, of course, in his home ballpark here to try to light everything up. But now we're talking about naming some finalists and going to the finals. Cap, who do you expect to be the final 2 people in the field tonight? Or if you have multiple people based on odds, that's more than fine. But talk to me about what you can view as the finalists.
So I'll give you. I'm gonna give away what I have here, but we'll give our bets. But I have 3 guys I like that we talked about, and that's Wood, Olsen, and Buxton. All 3 for different reasons. I can lay them out right now, or we can wait until I give a couple bets later. But I have my reasonings for all 3 of those guys. and if any three of them make it there, I think I'll be pretty happy tonight. So I should be all right. But yeah, I like that a lot. Austin pointed it out earlier, and that's obviously I just listed two out of three of those guys are lefties. So I'm leaning into the lefty favor a little bit at that ballpark. Um, right field is a taller fence, but I would say with most of these guys how hard they're going to hit the ball tonight, that's not really going to matter. But a little bit shorter fence to the right. Obviously, they're taking BP at like 50 miles an hour, if that. So you would expect a lot of pull. So we'll see. But yeah, those are my three favorites. If I had to just pick two, I'd want Wood and Olson to get there.
Wood and Olson to get there. So I took two bets for this to make the finals. I have James Wood versus Brent Rooker in the finals. That's like it's 26-1 at FanDuel. I got it at. I'll do a little bit of unnecessary past posting just to see if I got some line value. I'm very curious to see how that moved. I bet all this stuff, by the way. I did my whole Derby research run through. I started at 11:08 Eastern and finished at 11:27 East, 11:57 Eastern. So I did a quick hour of my thoughts, comments, concerns on the Derby, and I got my plays locked in then, just for transparency's sake here. But listen, Cap, I agree with you on the O'Neal Cruz fading. But with that being said, I don't want to be that idiot who faded him entirely. So I did take another long shot, and this is one for Avery here. This is one for Avery here. I did take a long shot of Cruz versus Caminero. So my four, if you had to put like a gun to my head, would be Rooker, Wood, Cruz, and Caminero for the final four. Cruz, Caminero, I got it 18-1 at FanDuel. Again, I'll do another. I'll look at it right now to see what the odds are, to see if I got some line value there. But those are two things I played. So reiterate: James Wood versus Brent Rooker, 26-1, and O'Neal Cruz versus Junior Caminero, 18-1.
Yeah, no, I named all three guys, but yeah, I took to name the finalists, I took Olson and Buxton at 3,700, Olson and Wood at 2,300, and then Wood and Buxton at 1,900. So I kind of covered my bases there, at least with those three, and obviously just sprinkled on all three of those. And if neither of them make it, then then I just laugh and watch a bunch of bombs. So who cares? But
Yeah, it's gonna be fun no matter what. And just for again, not to pass post, but Wood versus Rooker, I got it 26-1 at FanDuel. It's down to 20-1, so that's awesome. But Cruz versus Caminero, I got 18-1, is now 19-1. So some value on one hand, a little bit of lost value on the other hand, but still fun, nonetheless, to take a look at that. Now, Cap, we've talked about the guys we think that are going to get there or could get there. We can do the thing is like, as much as I want to help out the boys and talk about some distances, etc., like I really don't have anything. So I'd rather not even like waste the time for you guys to like, come up with some thoughts on the spot here. We can actually go through round one. Like if we're talking no price, like I definitely like Rooker over Jazz in round one here for most home runs. Buxton, Rooker, I'll put that in your court, Cap. It's so hard to like obviously like know who's going to come out hot there. These are two guys that you're interested in. That could be worthwhile to look at, but I really didn't look at these markets or place anything, so don't really want to belabor them. But I'll do a quick scroll, Cap, and you can look if anything immediately sticks out of your mind. But no worries if not. So we got Cal minus 295 against Caminero. Like that's a lot to lay there. Jimmy 210 against Chisholm and Caminero as well. Like,
let's buy into the Caminero stuff here, man. James Wood over Cruz at plus 100. That is intriguing.
That's definitely intriguing. That one just caught my eye. Let's continue this little scroll. Got a couple more combos here. Like Rooker over Cruz at 150 kind of catch my eye as well.
Yeah, I would buy into the Olson thing too. That just goes back to I'm hating on O'Neal Cruz tonight. That's fine.
That's right. So, Cap, right now we've gone through mostly everything here that we wanted to talk about. And the last thing to talk about is gun to head winners and exactas. obviously odds matter, and in certain situations, but a contest like this, right? I feel like you kind of maybe throw the odds a little bit out the window, and you kind of bet who you really think is going to win. Not saying that's like a viable overall strategy, just kind of like the nature of an event like this and the dog days of summer from MLB. Cap, who is your 2025 home run derby winner?
Well, I cheated. I took two. Uh, who I really think's gonna win it is James Wood. I'm on the same train as Eric. We've been riding that one for a while. Uh, love what that kid has to offer. Love what I've seen out of him. There's just so many narratives that feed into it. One, he's a lefty. Two, he had the day off before the Derby. We've seen all these guys, warming up or seen him do it a lot. So Wood is my favorite, and I would say, quote unquote, he's my safer bet. And then again, I backed another lefty in Matt Olson, uh, hometown guy. He was. I read a couple quotes on how excited he was, or he was bummed that Acuna wasn't going to get to do it, but was super super happy with the opportunity to go out there and represent Atlanta and all these things. And again, lefty hitter. We know Olson's got pop. I just think it'll be fun. And I mean, we're all sports fans here, man. The energy of the crowd feeds into a lot. So, I mean, if he gets hot early and that crowd really gets behind him, I mean, who knows what could happen.
Exactly. Who knows what can happen? And some more context on Olston. His pitcher is their Braves Major League coach, Eddie Perez. And no quote no quote like Caminero, Chisholm, or whoever we talked about earlier, where they're talking about, like the speed I'm going to use or swing with. We're just talking about how he's so excited to do it instead of Ronnie in his home city, which of course is enough of motivation, I'm sure. But Cap, did you take a look at any of the exactas, aka if you're betting Wood or Olson? An exacta, for those who don't know, is a bet on literally like who wins over who. Like for example, James Wood over Byron Bucks, James Wood, etc. Did you bet any exactas? Because I bet two exactas, and let's see, where is the exacta tab? There it is, exact result. What did you do? You have any exactas that you placed? Slash, again, like I know you have your two finalists. Are those who you would lean toward for an exacta and just kind of flip flop them either way?
I would, or I mean, at that rate, you can maybe take a little bit more a chalkier approach, I guess. Um, but yeah, I did not take any. I don't know that I would. But again, it might be worth a little sprinkle. Like you see there, Wood over Olson for 2,500. That's a great price. And then yeah, get it 3-1 there. So
Wood over Olson at 25-1. Olson over Wood at 3-1. That's at DraftKings. I'm gonna do that same search really quick on FanDuel on my other computer. Just to Wood over Olson is 32-1 at FanDuel. So if you want to bet, that's Caminero. Oh, it's 32-1. So if you want to bet with Cap and go Wood over Olson, that is 32-1 at FanDuel. So bet that at FanDuel. And for Matt Olson over James Wood, that's 42-1 at FanDuel. So if you're looking to bet either of these two picks with Cap, head over to FanDuel and bet those there, because DraftKings has much worse odds on these two exactas. And for me, Cap, I have two exactas that I placed. I did the same thing as what you were just talking about, where I took my two guys and I just flipped them. I have James Wood over Brent Rooker, 40-1, and then Brent Rooker over James Woods, 50-1. And as we speak, those odds on FanDuel, Wood over Rooker is 31-1. So I got a lot of line value there. And Rooker over Wood is 44-1 now, and I got 5-1. So two, again, we're talking about major long shots. So CLV on these absolutely massive long shots really isn't as impactful. But I can't say I'm not happy about that. I'm not going to lie.
no, absolutely. You love to see that. But yeah, like I said, I kind of said it to start off the show. I mean, I took a pretty simple approach to it, just enough to sweat something and then see what's going on. But yeah, there's a good chance I'd dive back in and grab a couple more things to have some fun with.
And something we're seeing in real time for most of these, of course, line shop, every single bet could be different, but the odds of everything Cap and I have spoke about are much better actually at FanDuel. So probably should have had FD open this whole time because hope you guys are doing the line shopping we're talking about because you have so much more value at FanDuel. There could be more at ESPN, B365, MGM. Go down the list and make sure you shop for the best odds. But Cap, that's going to do it for us. We have a lot of action on it. Again, to talk about the plays that we have, I have Jazz Chisholm round 1 under 17.5 home runs. Cap has Buxton and Olsen to make the semis. I have James Wood to make the semis. Now, for plays that I also have, I have to name the finalists. So it doesn't matter who wins at this point, just to be in the finals. I have a Rooker versus Wood, 26-1, and Cruz versus Caminero, 18-1. And then for my exactas, I have James Wood over Brent Rooker, 40-1, and Brent Rooker over James Wood, 50-1. Cap, is there anything last that you want to discuss or anything you want to look at from an odds perspective to maybe convince yourself or maybe me play devil's advocate for a last bet here?
I might go play some of the exactas, like you said, but other than that, no. I mean, I would just tell people, like I said, I'm completely buying into favoring lefties here. Which if you like Cal Raleigh could play into that as well, obviously, and O'Neal Cruz could just shock the world tonight. I don't get it. I really don't. I do, but I don't. We'll see. I hope I'm right. Because I've pretty much completely faded him. But yeah, no. I think it just comes down to watching this, soaking it all in. It's a lot of fun, and really for us sports fans, like that's what we truly are. It's just really cool to see these guys just like being little kids out there. They're always like dapping each other up and bullshitting and stuff, and it's just really fun to see that. And sometimes you kind of forget that these guys are actual human beings and like to have fun and do things. So it's just really refreshing to see that, and that's what the All-Star break should be about.
Dude, it's going to be awesome. Such a good event for the sport of baseball. Such a good field of players participating this year for the sport of baseball. And it's going to be a great one. I have no action on Raleigh to do anything significant. No action on Buxton, Olsen, or Jazz. So if one of these four, or actually, if Cruz, one of these four end up doing great, that means it was a bad day for me. But one of the other four do something a little bit spectacular, then I have a little bit of action in on those guys. So I'm hoping that they're the ones to help us get to the bank. But Cap, want to do a quick shameless promo for yourself, and then we'll hop on out of here.
Yeah, you guys can find me at just cap now. It's here we go, Boop, right there. Uh, Post MLB plays, and then obviously when hockey comes back around, we'll be back on that train. And then you can click the link in my bio to check out Better Process. We got a really awesome team over there, and building a pretty awesome community. I know some of these guys in here are actually some of our community members, so it's great to see you guys, and we appreciate the support. But yeah, come check us out.
Appreciate that, Cap. And make sure, guys, if you're watching on my stream, follow Cap at Just Cap Now. If you're watching from Cap stream, follow me at Go BetSmart. You can find all my work at betsmart.co. It is a sports betting tool review platform. We help you find the best technology for you to help you guys make the best bets. Normally on these streams, we do use a tool and work through it, the board with said tool. That being said, obviously All-Star break, so Cap and I went back to the classic, just looking at the interface of the sports books and talking about it. But if you're using still sportsbook interfaces in the year 2025, you're absolutely botching because there are tools that help you do all the line shopping, all the player prop research, all the expected value calcs for you. And all you have to do is go to a sports book, place your bet, and never have to worry about interfaces again, and you'll always find the best odds. So find those tools for yourself at betsmart.co. Find Cap at Better Process and at Just Cap Now. We appreciate you guys. Maybe we'll do something for the All-Star game tomorrow, still in the works, but I'm always streaming. So if you guys love this kind of content, make sure to follow me, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day, and let's cash some bets.